Hello and welcome to a VR track guide for the Nurburgring 1967. This is going to be the original Northern Loop layout without the Grand Prix course because it hadn't been built yet. Setting up for the first hairpin to start the lap, we're going to break at the third power pole there on the right. Coming in second, this is going to be a second gear corner in most cars, including the Alpha 33 Stradale that I'm using as a demonstration vehicle here today. Keeping it all the way tucked in nice and tight until the advertisement boards end on your left-hand side there. Then it's about safe to go full throttle. Going to wind all the way out into, I believe it's the top end of fourth or the bottom end of fifth gear here. I like to brake as my car is level with this little pit building here on driver's right. So just about there. Get down into second, chuck it nice and deep in, use the bottom end of this banked left-hander, avoid the bump on the bridge to brake for the first left onto the Northern Loop here. The following sequence is really difficult. We're going to be in a third gear, high-speed, faint right here. Trail braking in, coming down to the clipping point, coming out, setting up to get into the middle of the circuit here and brake down into second gear for the slow left-right combination. I sometimes dump first gear here in the middle of the corner to try to get a better run out depending on how much speed I have heading in. Got to keep the inertia up. Nice late right, don't track out here at the exit of this right so that you can set up for the subsequent left. Again, dipping first for just a little bit of power. On a good lap, it's better to leave it in second. And then a nice right here, and then the right-left combination to come up to the Flugplatz here. Heading down over the bridge, already looking for our turn-in marker. It's a little bit blind up here. I like to brake down and dip third here, just to keep the car in the power band and be a little bit conservative. I'm sure on a fast lap, trying to stay as flat as possible in fourth would probably be quicker, but I'm trying to make sure that I show you how to finish a race properly with as few mistakes as possible here. We are flat out on our way to the Swiss Cross here. We've got to get into fifth and faint right over the little jump. Trail brake down fourth and get in nice and deep. Try to stay all the way to the left here to brake down third and then second. A little bit sideways here, but the banking does support the car, so you can often get away with it as we come down into the foxhole. Gonna get all the way into fifth gear here in the foxhole, and we're not gonna start braking until after the compression at the bottom of the hill when the car starts climbing, excuse me. So compress, climbing, down fourth, turn into the left, still in fourth, and then brake third and second. Come in early, fade out again, and come in really late. Treat that almost all as one sequence of S's, even though the apex are kind of spread apart from each other. Going to get into fourth gear here on the run to the radio station at the top of the mountain. And then we're going to brake all the way down into, I believe, third gear for the first left, and then second gear for the second left in this sequence. Nice and late apex, both of these, because they're followed by some little short straights you want to have high inertia on. And then we're going to be prepping here to brake down into second on a good lap. You don't need first gear here because the car is traveling downhill and you pick up the throttle early, so you don't need the extra power. Turning in nice and late for the faint left before three fast rights. For three fast rights, we're going to stay out and then come in and hit the apex for the second one and then miss the apex for the third one so that we can brake in a straight line here into the bridge before Adenau. Staying in first, dipping second right before we come into the right and trying to stay as flat out as possible. Come here towards Adenau and Exmühle. Got to get down into second gear here before the road starts to curve to the left. Dip that little defilade there. And then back into second for Exmühle, getting all the way down to the grass and all the way out to the grass. It's really important to make sure that you're using the whole circuit at the Nürburgring. Because it's so narrow, it can be really daunting to do so, but the best laps are going to come when you're using the whole circuit. Trying to stay flat out in third for the Lauda Links here, briefly touching fourth before we brake for Bergwerk. Missing the apex entirely on this lap and getting a little bit sideways. You don't want to copy that. Brake slightly earlier and come all the way down to the grass rather than missing the whole corner like I did. That is not to be emulated. Gonna get into fourth here in the fast run through the forest. This is probably one of the most daunting sections of the track here, as it is very narrow. Trying to stay flat out through this first left. And then we're going to come up to a big hump in the road and then brake slightly for a right-left chicane. There is the crest. And then right, left. Coming out a little bit wide here and clipping the grass, which means I'm set up quite poorly for the fast left here. But normally we would be further to driver's right on entry, break down third, and then treat it like a typical late apex high-speed corner. Braking as you see the road fall away there for the fast right over the crest. Setting up for the hairpins at the top of the lap here. First one is second gear, and then we're also going to take the Caracciolo carousel in second gear as well. Getting into third here on the straightaway before we approach. I like to brake right here as I get next to, pretty close to where the hedgerows end. Keep it in second, wait until you can see the bowl end, and then accelerate straight out. Going to be in third for the subsequent fast left. It's really, really tempting to take fourth, but you don't necessarily need it here all the time. Just breathing slightly off the throttle, and then I like to brake and stay in third on a fast lap through here, although some laps I will touch second. The gear turning could be a little bit better, but you lose torque all the way near the red line when you have more power. Staying in second through this combination of rights, and then pulling third over the crest. Getting as far to driver's left as possible so we can be nice and quick in third for the first right here, and then trail brake for the first left in third, and again still in third for the final right at this combination coming out, accelerating towards this 90 right uphill. You can brake very late in a second, and then come out, and then I like to get hard left, feed the car from third to second into this corner here, and actually kind of fade out and then fade back in to come for the true apex, so we can set up for the following right nice and cleanly. Get on the power nice and clean coming out up third, and then breaking down from third to second. It's tempting to leave it in third through this right, however, sometimes you don't have enough power to get out. Braking down into second for this next left, turning in nice and late, aiming for that boosh. And then this is really, really off camber and the road falls away here, so a lot slower in than you think you have to be. Third, going to stay flat out in third over the little bump here, and then brake down, and then out, and then back in again for this next apex, and then a blind left, flat out, be brave, and then mostly flat out left here over this big crest. This is super scary, so I often lift. And then again, a blind right, left, right for the Beloff S, trying to stay in as straight of a line as possible. This right tightens up on exits. Sometimes it can be spooky if you're offline. Big, deep trail braking moment here to come into this final right for the Swallow's Tail. And then braking down into second gear for the Swallow's Tail. And then immediately on the power out to set the car up. The road falls away. For the Kleine carousel in second, just dip nice and close to the inside and exit nice and early. Here we go, and then we're going to be in third gear for the triple rights at Galgenkopf. Kind of tempting into between second and third, but you'd rather have third. And then you can pick up the throttle actually quite early here to get on a Dörtninger, the following straight. Up fourth, winding the gears all the way out. You can probably use 104 or 105% limiter for the whole race because you're not really on the rev limiter most of the time around the Nürburgring because it's so technical, and you need that extra power here to come up to this crest. I like to leave it in third and then pull fifth gear on the way down the following hill so that I have enough torque and power to make it up the hill without losing too much speed. The left here, under the aqueduct at the end of the lap, really, really scary. The Alpha likes to get super, super upset because there's a big bump. You will suffer a large oversteer moment here, so the more you lift, the more the car sometimes wants to oversteer over the bump, so you have to be brave and leave it pinned. And then I like to hit the left and the right and start braking as we come down to the grass to the right for the chicane at the end of the lap, and it is in first gear, and then right back into second. And that's a lap of the original 1967 layout of the Nürburgring. I hope that you've managed to just have a general overview of what it looks like getting around the circuit. I am by no means an almanac. I don't know everything about it or how to run it perfectly, but I hope that's good enough to help you out. Have a great day and stay safe with the ongoing health crisis in the world right now. Bye-bye.